in the thin evening light. Well, sort of early afternoon actually, it's 2:30. You join Vita and I outside because I'm tackling one of my not that frequent winter projects, which is dealing with my indoor palm tree thing. I want to keep this plant as healthy as I can, which means every so often I like to take it out of the soil, trim it up a bit to make sure the roots aren't going too mental inside the pot, and then I refresh the compost. Mostly because this is a pretty big plant. This is a pretty big plant, and it would be easy for it to sort of start to struggle in the pot. So I did this maybe a couple of winters ago. I like to do it in winter when the plant's kind of dormant. I have all my equipment to hand. Fell off the table. So I've got my hori tool and my Japanese secateurs, and I have an assortment of different types of composts and things to replenish the potting mix with. So what I'm going to do now is just trim off some of the dead leaves, then I'm going to loosen it from the pot, ruffle up the roots, trim it back a bit, put it back in the pot, replenish the soil, and put it back in the pot in the house, and the job's a good one. There we go then. So I just removed some of the more browner, less attractive leaves and some of the bigger roots, and then I use my hori tool to slice off this chunk of roots at the bottom, which just helps the plant to sit lower in the pot. It has started to sit sort of quite high out of the soil, so that some of the top roots were kind of protruding above the soil level, so I wanted to sink the plant down a bit more into the pot. And I have also taken the opportunity to straighten it up. It does tend to grow towards the light and get a bit of a slant on it, but such is our confined space and such is the size of it that I can't really rotate it to compensate for that. So this is the next best thing. Anyway, I'm very pleased with that. I'm now going to take it into the house, put it back into its sleeve, give it a nice drink, and then that's that done for maybe the next year, maybe the next 2. Good morning. I thought I'd show you how the garden's looking this morning. As you can probably tell, it was a very cold night last night, and we've got quite a nice frost. I love the frost. I love the way it makes the garden sparkle and glisten. But give it a few hours and this will all be gone. It's not like how it was when I was living in Scotland, which is where I lived before moving here. Daytime temperatures will quickly ramp up to such an extent that all of this will just burn off and we'll go back to normal looking garden. But that's one of the reasons I like coming out first thing in the morning, so I can enjoy this lovely magical wintry scene. We do get snow here, but it doesn't really ever settle. So this is the closest we get really to a snowy landscape, which is also a landscape I'm very fond of. Anyway, it's all very pretty out here this morning. I've just been processing wood. Now I'm going to head into the house. Well, there's a lovely fire blazing away, and I have myself a lovely cup of decaf tea. So I will catch up with you later. As you can see, no more frost, but that's okay, because I'm turning my attention now to a project which might be better done not in the frost anyhow, and that is I've just taken delivery of 5 new garden plants. Now these are all part of the Hellebore family, and if you didn't know, Hellebores are amongst my favourite plants. I do have some already, but these are for inside the formal garden. The ones I already have are in what I call the Japanese garden, which is outside, and they do all right there, but I'm hoping that these will add a bit of interest to the formal garden. So I have kind of split them up into how I'm going to be planting them. And I have got some quite special ones. This one here, for example, this is a hybrid part of the Liguricus family. And these are interesting in that the flowers of this one are scented, which is quite unusual for hellebores. Hellebores have beautiful flowers, but they usually aren't scented. So I'm thinking of planting that one somewhere where the scent can be better enjoyed. This one is a double green picotee, and what that means is that the outside of the petals are slightly tinged with a burgundy colour. But this one just looked amazing and sounded really cool. And don't have a lot of green flowers in the garden, but I'm all up for incorporating more. We saw a few at the Chelsea Flower Show, and they were very interesting. This one here, this one has single, pretty close to black flowers, and it just looks so cool. And so I am planning on putting that in a pot. That'll be part of our pot garden. And then finally, these two. These are part of quite a rare subspecies of hellebores, the Niger. Rare for here, because elsewhere these are known as the Christmas rose. So quite a popular plant, certainly in the United Kingdom, but a bit more unusual for here. This one is quite unusual in that the flowers have got a nice pink tinge to them. And this one is very unusual in that it's a double flower, and that is a white double flower. And apparently these will particularly enjoy the coolest part of the garden, and so I've got a space in mind for these. So let me quickly show you what I am talking about, or what I'm thinking about. So the one with the black flowers, I'm going to get a pot and I'm going to put it along this wall of the house. The southern wall of the house, which as mentioned previously, is the shady side of a property in the northern hemisphere, hence all this beautiful moss in the lawn. And the hellebores prefer shade, so it should like it here, I hope. I think it would just get a bit lost if I put it in the garden with the black flowers, so I'm just hoping that by putting it in a pot it'll have a bit more opportunity to shine. The Niger ones I'm planning on putting in this bed here, which for sure is the coolest part of our garden. My only concern with this spot is that it has the potential to be too shady with these evergreen trees in front of it here. However, it, I think, will be okay. I suppose I've got an alternative of moving them down there, but then I'm worried that it could get too hot for it in summer in that spot, or for them in that spot. So this is the spot I have in mind at the moment. Should work out okay. It'll get enough light, I hope, in winter, but won't get overly hot in the summer, which is my main concern. The plants with the fragrant flowers I am thinking of putting here. This has a potential to be quite a good spot for that, in the sense that this is a wisteria, so it'll have the benefit of shade all over it come summer, but at this point in time, especially now, you can see there's quite a lot of light coming through there. I could put it here, but then it does run the risk of getting too much direct light in the summer. So this is where I'm thinking for that, so we get to enjoy the fragrance as we're coming and going. And the one with the green flowers, well, I haven't really thought about that, but I am thinking I could potentially, well, I had sort of planned to put it around this plant, but this tree, as you may or may not know, killed itself in a recent gale. So that is now a non-starter. I've got a replacement plant for this area, albeit it's not a tree. So I am considering putting the one with the green flowers along what I refer to as the deciduous hedge. So these plants and trees will go all nice and leafy spring, summer, but as you can see, they are deciduous. My only concern with this spot is that it has the potential to get maybe potentially a bit too hot in summer, because it will have direct light coming onto it from this side for quite a large part of the day, albeit I suppose the later part of the day. So that is a potential spot for it along there. But I'm going to plant them out now because they've been in the post, and whilst I wouldn't normally want to put a plant out pretty much as soon as it's come out of the box that it was posted in, this is realistically my best opportunity to get that done. And so rather than keeping them set in pots for the next wee while, I'm just going to set about planting them out now.